Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Vinti Dawar from Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra, Haryana. Today we are going to talk on module Traditional versus Modern Food Service under the paper Food Service Management. Food and beverage service is one of the most important departments of any food service organization, be it a hotel or a small dhaba. The main responsibility of such establishments is to serve prepared food to the guests. The main objective of this module are to have a good understanding of traditional food service as well as modern food service. Traditional food service include mainly waiter service, whereas modern food service can be categorized into waiter service, self-service, and assisted service. First of all, we will understand various types of waiter service. This method includes service of food and beverages to guests by waiters at the table. Waiter service can be further categorized into English service, American service, French service, Russian service, Guridon service, and tray service. The English service is popularly known as silver service. It is one of the most formal kinds of service methods. The food is served from the left hand side of the guest, whereas beverages are served from the right hand side with the help of service spoon and fork after presenting the dishes to the guests. The spoon and fork is only used to serve the dishes. Lady guests are served first, followed by male guests, and hosts are served in the end in a clockwise fashion. The main advantages of this type of service are it ensures maximum guest satisfaction, it's highly personalized kind of service, very impressive and eye appealing, it generates minimum or no food waste. But there are few disadvantages as well. To count a few, it requires very high levels of skills, labor costs are on higher side, the space needed is more. It is also very time consuming and cost of equipment is on higher side. So under waiter service, American service is the second kind of service, which is a simple and informal form of service. It is also termed as plated service. This is becoming very popular all over the world. A waiter carrying minimum of 3 types of dishes approaches guests and places the dishes from the right hand side of a guest. Generally, one waiter is sufficient for 3 guests. Trays are generally avoided for service and they carry the plates on their hands. However, trays can be used for carrying out soiled dishes. This type of service is preferred by busy restaurants like coffee shops, fast food outlets, etc. Few important considerations of American service are food service is done from the right hand side of the guest, always from the right hand side, and all beverages are also served from right hand. Soiled dishes are always cleared from the right hand only. Service trays can be used to carry items like cups, bowls, saucers, etc. In no case, full and half plates are carried in trays. Service sequence is clockwise from the right hand side. We go from right and clockwise, the waiter will move and serve to different customers sitting on the table. Then what are the advantages of American service? This is not highly skilled professional service. The skill of the chef is important in pre-plated service because it's the chef who has to put the dish in the plate, garnish it, and the waiter simply has to bring it and put it in front of the guest. The labor cost is low. The less staff is required because You simply have to carry the plated service and put it. So less staff is required. The equipment cost is also very low because you don't require chefing dishes, you don't require the big bowls, the service bowls, you don't require. The silver service is very different. But here, the plate, the plate has to be hot when you are serving hot food, the cold when you are serving cold food. And it is a very fast method of service. But there are certain disadvantages of this method as well. And what are those disadvantages? Less guest friendly service. The guests do not get the feeling of personalized service because nobody is serving from the dishes to them. They simply are given one plate and they have to finish it. More plate waste is generated because the food which is in the plate has been offered already. The person who is going to eat has no choice. He may like the food, he may not like the food. If he doesn't like the food, the whole food will be wasted. If he wants another helping, a full helping will be given again. A full plate will be charged. So there is more plate waste generated, more chances of food contamination, no scope for waiters to exhibit their skills, more of kitchen time and labor is required. French service is also known as family service. In France, this service is found in family pensions, known as pension de famille, and banquets, where the dish is presented to each guest from the left hand side to help himself or herself. For a small party of 2 to 3 guests, dishes ordered by them are placed on the table with service implements and plates for the guests to help themselves. For large parties of more than 4 guests, a side table or trolley can be used. The waiter keeps plates, service tools, and dishes on the sideboard or on the trolley. He or she places plates at guest covers and then presents the dishes with service tools to each guest from the left hand side to help themselves. Alternatively, all dishes may be placed on the table and the host may serve all the guests at the table first or sometimes assist them in service and then serve himself or herself finally. This method is widely practiced in ethnic restaurants, especially in Chinese and Indian restaurants. Indian breads and accompanying dishes are kept on the table for guests to help themselves. If assistance is required, the waiter may help the guest in passing and serving the dishes. Few advantages of this particular service style are: service skills are not required. It has low labor cost. Seat turnover is more compared to silver service. It's a quick service, so there is no plate wastage. The limitations: service staff will not be able to demonstrate their service skills. Food may go insipid. The cold food becomes hot and the hot food becomes cold. Guests may spill food on them or sometimes even burn themselves. Like they touch the dish and it's very hot. So they're not aware, they touch it and get burned. This style needs more area on the table and the guests may feel neglected. The next is the Russian service, a very elaborate service and is also termed as sideboard service. In this style, large joints, roasted poultry, whole fish, elaborately garnished and very neatly arranged on a platter, are presented to the host first. Then, after presenting to the host, getting the approval, taken back to the sideboard and then carved there. In certain restaurants, the carving is also done in front of the visitors. The guests will be asked which particular portion of that meat or fish they want. That portion is neatly carved and then served onto the plate of the customer. The service spoon and fork are given as cutlery. After service, dishes are kept on a hot plate in the sideboard to keep them warm and to reserve when asked again. Each course is served from the sideboard. This service is not practiced much in recent times, but it has certain advantages. High level of guest satisfaction because the guest is the prime person. If he is asking, I want this portion, he or she will be served that portion. Approval is taken first of the platter. Everything is kept on the sideboard. The waiters have scope to exhibit carving, portioning, and elaborate service skills. A very good style of presentation, but with few limitations. Calls for highly skilled staff, hence very high labor cost. More wait staff is required because the wait staff has to be very attentive when any guest sitting on the table may ask for a second helping. The wait staff will have to go to the sideboard, bring the dish, portion it, and then serve it. Low seat turnover as time taken for service is very high. The next one is the guridon service. Guridon again is a French word meaning the trolley service. In this style of service, dishes are prepared, carved, dressed, or flambéed on a trolley in front of the guest and served with service spoon and fork. I use the word flambéed. Everybody may not be aware. Flambéed means when we put some kind of alcohol on the dish and burn it and bring the dish while it's still burning to the table. The presentation is excellent but requires high level of skill. The restaurants have to have trolleys specially constructed for various jobs such as carving, flambing, and presentation. The design of a trolley varies according to the purpose. Carving trolley, flambe trolley, ortho, varies trolley, cheese trolley, liquor trolley are some of the trolleys found in restaurants offering guridon service. This type of service is practiced in luxury upmarket restaurants. Look, when the trolley is moving, you have to provide space for the trolley all around the table. So each table has to be given sufficient space for two trolleys to cross very large alleys. However, one should not confuse this service with the trolleys used for clearing dirty dishes and those facilitating services. Trolleys are also used in flight catering for carrying portioned food trays and trolleys used in casual dining restaurants for clearing soiled tableware do not constitute guridon service. The advantages of guridon service are highly personalized service. The trolley is taken to each guest and service is made. High level of customer satisfaction as the dishes are prepared, carved, flambéed in their presence. Good merchandising device. Wait staff can exhibit their culinary, carving, and serving skills. High average spending power because only those guests are going to come who can pay heavily for such personalized service. But there are limitations to this service as well. It's very slow service and the seat turnover is very low and a very expensive style of service because it requires more service area and very highly skilled staff. Chances of accidents are more. I just said two trolleys have to cross at the same time. So there are chances that two trolleys are already there in the LA and a third trolley comes. So they have to give space or otherwise there is bound to be an accident. More investment on service equipment and cooking in the service area may leave order. In tray service, the dishes ordered by guests are neatly portioned and arranged on a tray with necessary cutlery and taken to the rooms, beds, or seats of the customers by waiters. Special trays are available to retain temperature of dishes. This style is more common in room service, hospitals, flights, and institutional catering. Guests in hotels at times call for service of dishes in their rooms. Their orders are taken by room service order takers. Dishes are arranged on a tray and served quickly in the rooms. Order can be collected either from the kitchen or floor pantry. In hospitals, patients are given a diet recommended by dietitians. These dishes are arranged on trays and wheeled to the rooms on trolley. Passengers who are confined to their beds or during air flights or in trains, when they are seated, they are served with the help of trays. This service is also called in situ service. In situ means on the seat. The menu is decided by the operators or catering contractors. This also had certain advantages and disadvantages. To count the advantage, service skill is not required, so results in low labor cost. And the limitations are tray area may not be adequate to accommodate more dishes unless the number of dishes and portion size are predetermined. This is common in case of flight catering. Waiters will not be able to exhibit their service skills. Another limitation is it does not provide personalized service. Food may go insipid because if insulated trays are not used, the cold food will become hot and the hot cold. The next type of method is self-service. This is the simplest form of service methods where members of service staff do not serve guests. Customers help themselves with the dishes they would like to consume. Self-service is classified mainly into three: cafeteria, counter service, and vending. We'll discuss one by one. First of all, the cafeteria service. There are two types of cafeteria service in practice: traditional, and the second is free flow cafeteria. Traditional cafeteria service is widely followed in institutional and industrial catering establishments. It consists of a straight line of counters containing a variety of hot and cold dishes displayed in order. The customer starts from one end of the line, picks up a tray, and moves along the length of the counter as he or she selects dishes wanted by them. A tray rail is attached to the full length of the counter to rest trays while selecting dish and passing along the line. The cashier, who is seated at the end of the counter, makes the bill and collects payment. This is not required if the meals are prepaid. Normally, the service counter is separated from the dining area. Traditional cafeteria system tends to build up long queues due to some reasons, such as too many dishes on display may draw the attention of guests in line, thus making guests move slowly. Flow of activities in traditional cafeteria system can be: first of all, the guest enters, picks up the tray, joins queue at the counter, picks up the dishes of his or her choice as he or she moves along, pays to the cashier at the end of the counter. If it is prepaid, there is no need to pay at the counter. Then picks up the cutlery and napkin, goes to the dining hall to sit and eat. In modern free flow cafeteria system, counters are segregated according to the type of dishes offered, such as hot or cold, appetizers, soups, breads, sandwiches, entrees, salads, pastas, and so on, so forth. Trays and other essential service equipment are kept on tables at convenient places. Guests pick up trays and go to counters of their choice, select whatever dish they want. The cashier collects payment for the dishes and customers exit through the payment point to eating area. In cafeterias, counters are not arranged in a straight line but in different shapes. One cafeteria may have hollow square, in between is empty. There may be U shape followed in another cafeteria. There can be echelon, echelonus, sawtooth, and so on, depending on the number of dishes on offer, shape, and size of area available. However, there are two main types of layout which are commonly followed: hollow square and echelon. In the hollow square layout, counters are placed around three sides of service area, which normally forms U shape. Each side has counters of offering various dishes with an open end for customers to enter and leave, already shown in the screen. This style is suitable for department stores, shopping malls, exhibition sites, and in echelon or sawtooth layout, a series of counters are positioned at such angles that customers can flow within free flow area and also have space like this. A customer reaches the counter of his her choice to help himself herself. This method is suitable for serving large number of people arriving almost at the same time because the space has been divided. Beverage counters may be located either in service hall or dining area. The advantages of cafeteria are: cafeterias look visually good, the labor cost is very low, low service skills are required, the management do not need to appoint people with high service skills. Mainly, they have to clear and clean the tables or the counters. More number of people can be served at the same time and less staff is needed. But once again, this also has limitations. Food may go cold while guests wait, insipid, may not taste good, also dependent on quick replenishing. They have to replenish again and again. If the number of guests coming is more, replenishing has to be very quick. Preparation system and the efficiency of the cashier is very much responsible for counter service. Carousel system consists of a number of rotating shelves at different heights on which food and drinks are presented. Each shelf is approximately 6 feet in diameter and rotates at 1 revolution per minute. Food is loaded from the table at the server side as and when necessary. In this style, customers do not move as in the case of free flow cafeteria system. They stand at one point and the carousel keeps on rotating. When the particular dishes come in front, They pick up the dishes of their choice and pay the cashier seated near carousel in the dining area. Dishes are arranged in the carousel as top shelf, which consists bread rolls, bread, butter, etc. Middle shelf has hot food. The bottom shelf has cold foods such as salads, sweets, and so on. Tray, cutlery, napkins, and beverages are kept separately to avoid overcrowding at the carousel. This system is not used widely, but the advantages are it serves 8 to 10 people per minute, needs less area for installation, and also waiting staff is not required. From vending machine, guests get the dishes from a machine. Customers buy tokens or coins and insert these into the vending machine and get whatever is on display, and they know that out of this what is their selection. A wide variety of hot and cold dishes are available in this system. The most important products dispensed are soups, hot and cold meals, sandwiches, biscuits, cookies and snacks, hot and cold beverages, and confectionaries. Vending machines are usually installed in busy areas such as railways, bus stations, airports, schools, institutions, hospitals, etc. etc. The advantages of vending machines are effective portion control. There is always a predetermined portion which is served, no wastage, reduces labor, very hygienic. Service is available throughout the day and night, low cost of operation, good food cost control. But always there are certain limitations, and the main limitation is power dependence and limited selection of dishes. Now I would elaborate assisted service. This is a combination of waiter and self-service. It is used extensively in hotels and restaurants. Service staff assists customers in service of water, accompanying vegetables, sauces, sweets, and so on. The main examples for assisted service are buffet and carvery. In buffet style of service, dishes are neatly displayed with garnish in the appropriate containers and arranged attractively on the buffet table in a proper order for guests to help themselves, as you have seen on the screen. Dishes at buffet are available at a set price, and all dishes are kept ready for service at a set time. The display has wide choice of both hot and cold dishes. Hot dishes are kept in chefing dishes and the cold one in glass, metal or wood containers. Pile of clean plates is kept at the head of each line, and cutlery and napkins are kept at the end. Disposable napkins, if used, are placed between plates. Buffet can be broken into many sections, such as soups, non-vegetarian dishes, vegetarian dishes, salads, cold cuts, sweets, coffee, tea, and so on, depending on basically the menu to avoid congestion at the table. Each section has appropriate service equipment. Soup sections has soup bowls, quarter plates, and soup spoons. At times, soup spoon may be laid at the table. Sweet counter will have adequate half plates and bowls. Cutlery for dessert is either laid at the table or kept in the buffet. Guests can have any dish they want in any quantity from the buffet, but are prohibited from sharing, packing, and carrying. In this form of service, a large number of people can be served within a short duration of time. Buffet service does not need too many service staff or high skill. This type of service is suitable for function catering. A lot of restaurants today favor this style of service for all three meals. There are three types of buffet: the sit down buffet, fork buffet, and finger buffet. In sit-down buffet, tables are laid with necessary cover. Customers select the dishes they want from the buffet and eat at this table set with necessary cutlery and crockery. Wait staff may help in the service of water, soup, sweet, coffee, and then clear the table in the end. They may also extend any other assistance required by the guests. In finger buffet, dishes are collected from the buffet and eaten with fingers. When we want to eat food with fingers only, we have to be selective. Dishes as burgers, sandwiches are ideal for finger buffet. A washing facility with hand dryer and napkin dispenser is very essential. Buffet service is becoming increasingly popular in modern times in all hotels and restaurants because service skill is not needed. It has low labor cost, less service staff is required, and more guests can be served in a short period of time. Then comes Kaveri style. This style is practiced in large chain of hotels and restaurants all over the world. The basic concept is that roast joints are carved by the trencher and served. Trencher is a carver. Carver is open for luncheon and dinner, and it also serves alcohol. The carvery usually has table d'hote menu, which consists of three courses with selection starters, three or four roast kinds of meats, and a selection of sweet. Waiters serve first and third courses, while guests have themselves for roast at the carvery counter. Carvery may have three or four varieties of roast and poultry. Each variety of roast will have separate carving tools for carving to ensure food hygiene. Accompanying sauces should be presented in sauce boards and placed near the appropriate roast with ladle. Accompanying vegetables and potatoes are kept in bain-marie. These vegetables may either be served at the table by waiters or collected by guests from the carvery. Roasts are kept under infrared lamps throughout service to retain the heat. The temperature of roast being carved should be 63 degrees Celsius or above. Bread and butter are placed at the table. If guests need assistance, waiters may serve them at the table. The factors which influence the style of service. The style of food service implemented by an establishment will depend on a number of interrelated factors. Some of them I'll discuss one by one. The very first is type of establishment itself. Standard of establishment and type of food and beverage served by the establishment influences the style of service. The service style of a fine dining restaurant, which offers expensive dishes and drinks to business class customers, will be different from the style of service extended to school children or to clients at a fast food restaurant. The size of food service area also dictates service style. Guridon service needs more area compared to any other form of table service. Carousal service needs less area compared to echelon service. The next point is the location of establishment. The location of establishment plays an important role in the selection of the style of service. For example, in a food and beverage facility located in a busy area where rate of customer flow is very high, quick service is expected. Here, the ideal style of service will be plated, cafeteria, or buffet style, and will definitely not be silver style or Guridon service. Next is the type of dishes to be served. The menu items on offer should be taken into account while deciding on style of service. Certain dishes cannot be silver served, such as ice creams, sandwiches, burgers, etc. Time available for service also matters because in industrial canteens, workers get a lunch break of 1 hour, and within that period, the operator may have to serve around 700 people, or may have only 30 minutes to serve tea and snacks for a large gathering during a seminar tea break. In such situations, best service should be organized which can handle large groups in short time. The next point is the turnover expected. Any catering operator would like to have high turnover, which is possible when service is quick. A seat occupied for a long time due to slow service will result in poor seat turnover. The next point is the type of customers, the age, sex, income level, status, family, friends, and occupation of the customers influence style service. Restaurants frequented by customers from low income group cannot afford to implement full silver service. It can only implement a service style that will be inexpensive and which the guests can afford. The next point is service skills available. Before deciding on a style of service for an operation, one must consider the level of service skills of the service staff and whether those skills are easily available in the job market. American service does not require much service skills when compared to Buridon service. Now, we must also know vivid service equipments required. Each style requires appropriate service equipment. However, common equipment required for any food service outlet are mainly types of linen such as base cloth, buffet, cold towels, frills, napkins, in crockery, ashtrays, bread and butter plates, breakfast cups, saucers, half plates, large plates, etc. In cutlery, dessert forks, dessert knives, dessert spoons, large knives, service forks. In hollowware and flatware, butter dishes, finger bowls, water jugs, platters, sugar bowls, teapots for two portions, for four portions. In glassware, the beer goblets, the brandy balloon, the champagne flute, the water goblets, the water tumbler, and in special equipments, the bar mixing glass, the bar spoon, can opener, carving set, wine bucket, stand, wine cradle, etc. So, listeners, to conclude, in this module, you have learned various styles of waiter service, the self service, and the assisted service. Traditionally, we only had waiter service style, but now we have waiter service, we have self service, and we also have assisted service in cafeterias, in during counters, in carousels. We are using carousels as well, so that at the same time we can serve a very large number of gathering. There are banquet services, there are waiter services in different styles, like you have known the Russian style, the American style, and the English style, the family style of service, and the self service in different cafeterias and bars. Thank you for being attentive listeners. Hope you have learned the traditional and the modern food service techniques in this module. I wish you good luck. All the very best. Thank you so much. God bless you.